uh, being 6:30 and we having a quorum, I will open the February 26th, 2024 meeting of the Freetown Conservation Commission. And item number one is request for determination of applicability for 25 Bullock Road, Freetown Fire Station number 3. I believe we do have a representative from GCG Associates.
Yes, this is. Oh, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, you might want to mute yours. Okay, perfect.
Hi, good evening. For the record, Anthony Ma with GCG Associate. We have filed an RDA for the 25 Bullock Road for the fire station building additions. I believe Mr. Phillips, he's going to representing the town administrators to present this site plan. So go ahead, Phillips. Mr. Phillips.
Can you hear me online from over there? Or should we try me unmuting and you muting?
Can you guys hear Robert?
I can hear Robert fine.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thank you for having us. As Tony mentioned, my name is Robert Phillips. I'm with Langen Engineering. We are the civil engineers on the project for the improvements to the fire station at 25 Bullock Road, working closely with Stark Architects and of course coordinating with the town and fire department throughout the design development. I'll share my screen here, show some plans. And start by just generally describing the site as it relates to the wetlands and the stormwater management as it is today. So the site, consists of apparatus bays and a one-story fire department or one-story like operational center for the fire department. The wetlands were delineated last year and walked by the Conservation Commission as well to confirm the flaggings. You can see the wetland series here to the north and northeast of the fire station and the paved areas. The stormwater can generally be characterized in two different ways. Stormwater is either collected on the roof or through a series of two catch basins in the front of the existing apparatus bays and conveyed through closed drainage to the north of the driveway and ultimately making its way to the wetlands. Otherwise, the stormwater sheets over the existing asphalt and gravel lots to the sides and rear of the fire station. Again, ultimately making its way to the wetland. The wetland series is, as I mentioned, on the property and relatively close to the existing edges of pavement and the existing edges of the gravel lot, such that the 100-foot wetland buffer encompasses some of the asphalt lot and the gravel lots, which I'll show on the next slide here, along with some of the proposed improvements. Maybe I'll just go ahead and highlight the wetland buffer here to make it easy. So this blue line here is the 100-foot wetland buffer, and this hatched area is the existing asphalt lot and then the gravel lot back here. The proposed project includes renovations to the existing structure, the interior, as well as providing a dedicated underground fire suppression tank. And then really the most substantive part of the improvements is the addition. The addition includes new apparatus bays and other operational areas for the fire department. And as a result of the addition, some grading and resurfacing within the existing asphalt parking lot, landscaped areas, and gravel surface lots. Are you on? A key part of this project, as it relates to this step of the permitting process, is that there's no new impervious area proposed. The addition is entirely in the existing asphalt lot. Another key point is the addition will have dedicated roof drainage, and I'll go to the next slide here to show that. So the roof drainage will be collected and conveyed through roof leaders underground through a new dedicated stormwater outfall, again, making its way towards the wetland series. And why this is important is, although the roof drainage or the proposed addition is partially within the wetland buffer, roof drainage is considered clean within the Massachusetts stormwater standards. So we're replacing overlay or sheet flow from the existing asphalt lot, which is going undetained and untreated to the wetlands currently, with clean roof drainage. So it's actually an improvement relative to the existing conditions. We are doing some grading within the wetland buffer, just to match the existing grades, but that will all be loamed and seeded. So it'll be a landscaped area. Again, no increase in impervious area.
You're not extending the asphalt.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. So the addition is entirely within the existing asphalt lot. And then so the only work within the only asphalt work is just resurfacing and regrading within those areas. So all other drainage patterns will be maintained throughout the site. During construction, we have perimeter controls proposed to protect the resource area, a dedicated construction entrance, and then also inlet protections for the existing catch basins during construction activities. So really, it's those two key points of no new impervious area, and then an improvement in terms of stormwater quality making its way to the wetlands with replacing a portion of the existing asphalt lot with clean roof drainage that we feel supports the negative determination of applicability for this project. And really, that's the project summary. If there's any questions or specifics that I can review, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, I have one question, just to make sure. The addition, will there be what type of excavation will it be? And will there be any material storage on the site?
I'll have to get details on the foundation from the geotechnical engineer. We do have a geotechnical engineer on the project. Any material storage would be, covered and have dedicated, perimeter controls around that stockpile. If required, that would be, means and method you would talk about.
Okay. So you don't personally know if there's going to be any excavation, or if it's just going to, is the addition going to be a slab?
Yes, and any material storage or staging, this is a pretty small footprint, so it wouldn't be stockpile long term, pretty much get in and get out. So
Okay, that was the point of my question. I was just wondering if there was if there was going to be a major digging, if there was going to be a foundation or just a slab. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
I'm all
No.
set.
Okay, then I would accept a motion. I would entertain a motion to say that though it is within the wetlands boundaries and buffer zone, that does not remove or cause any damage to the wetlands. I believe it's category 3, Victoria, is that right?
Yes, and there's another,
2A.
and positive 2A as well
Okay,
that they're looking for.
so I'll accept a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Margaret French,
Aye.
Steve Tripp,
Aye.
Charlie
Sullivan says aye. Thank you for your time.
Excellent,
you.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Should I just give the permit to Deb's office or do you guys need it?
I would definitely would like a copy, but yeah, Deb's off.
But email's fine for the
Yeah.
copy. Okay, okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, item number 2 on the agenda is 209 Middleborough Road, the boat ramp. The applicant is the State Department of Fish and Game, Office of Fishing and Boating Access. Do we have a
So if I-
representative?
Yeah, they were not able to make it tonight, so I can speak a little bit about that project. I did meet with him on site to discuss the project. I want to just share my screen 1 second. 1,000,000 tabs open. Okay. So essentially, the work that's being done is to repave the parking lot, to reclaim and repave. There's some stones that are sort of making their way to the surface, and things like that. It's not proposed to extend the footprint at all, of the parking lot. And it does in fact go pretty close, to the property line and the edge of the BBW, the wetlands. So there's also some stones near the water that they want to fix it. For lack of a better word, it was almost like curbing, but they want to fix those. And same thing with there's parts of the boat ramp here. Let me just zoom in here. They're gonna put in a concrete pad, as well as reset some granite curbing. And they repair 18 feet of existing granite curbing on the boat ramp. That's water level permitting. So they did express that they do not want to go into the water or have any interest in doing any of the work while the water level is this high. They do want to wait till the water level is lower, and they did indicate that this would be by like hand tools only, no heavy machinery, nothing going into the resource areas. So that's basically the gist of the project. Not sure if the commission has any questions I can answer.
It's mostly.
I'm good.
Just redoing what's there.
Yeah, just sort of redoing what's there, making it a better situation than what it is now.
All right, is there anyone else with any questions?
Now,
All
where are they
right.
putting concrete slab?
It's going over here. For I think they're gonna take down the shed that's there. Oh, right here,
Okay.
sorry.
Yeah.
And then put a handicap accessible
Okay,
toilet.
okay.
So that's what the pad is for. So people are able, people with mobility issues to be able to get up there.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions?
Mm.
All right, I'll accept a motion to provide under stipulation number 3.
You want to do that one?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor? Margaret French?
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp?
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item number 3, discuss and vote on Porter Pasture land use request by Taunton River Watershed Alliance. Victoria, do you have the facts here?
Yes, we have actually Gloria from the Taunton River Watershed Alliance on the Zoom call with us. She can speak to the request.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Gloria Bancroft. I'm the coordinator for the Taunton River Watershed Alliance. Thanks so much for having me this evening. For those of you who may not know, TRWA is a nonprofit environmental advocacy organization. So our mission is to primarily advocate for the health and protection of the Taunton River and its watershed. And one of the programs that we offer is through our Bruce Spooner Education Center. We offer different educational programs. And part of that is also trying to offer awareness to the public of our different natural resources and our outdoor parks and trails. And so 2 years ago, we started offering guided walks. And this year, we really would love to be able to offer one at Porta Pasture. And so our guided walks usually run about an hour, and they are capped at 15 people. And so I'm happy to answer any questions. I do have, just I have to excuse 1 second here. I'm looking at the calendar. So this particular walk we're looking for is on Wednesday, March 27th, and it will be at 1 o'clock. And again, it's capped at 15 people. And we have a volunteer, her name is Eleanor Simmons, and she usually runs these walks for about an hour. She talks about not just the vegetation of each area and its wildlife, but she also brings in some unique facts about each site, and she talks about its history. So they've been really rewarding for the people who've attended them.
Sounds very good. Anyone have any questions?
No,
Is the
Right.
pasture open in March?
I'm sorry?
The gate, so Margaret was asking if the gate is open in this time of year, because there's a gate at the edge of the property. So it is closed, but I think it said in your description that they can park along the entrance area, right? But if
Right.
you, I mean, we might be able to get it open if that's preferred
Well, that would be great.
to get the gate. Okay, if that's permission, we can schedule that.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I'm sure we can get someone to open the gate for them.
Okay.
And I can say, I'm sure of that, all right? I'll do it if need be. All right, so we have to vote. I guess the only thing that I'm gonna have, do you have any type of liability insurance in the Watershed Alliance?
Yes, and I've provided already a certificate of insurance that would name the town of Freetown as an additional insured for that particular day. Yes.
I hate to bring that up, but you never know.
Right.
All right, if there's no further discussion or any other questions, I'll accept the motion to allow the Taunton Watershed Alliance to have their tour of Porta Pasture.
I will make that motion.
I'll
Motion
second
has
it.
been made. Motion has been seconded. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp.
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Good luck. And
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
using the property, actually, being aware of it.
Thanks so much.
The next item is number 4, public hearing of notice of intent for 61 Cliff Drive. I will accept a motion to open the hearing and a motion to waive the reading of the notice.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor? Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp.
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. The hearing is opened. And if we have someone from Sharon and Associates,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. My name is Rick Sharon from Sharon Associates here on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Whitten. And Mr. Whitten is with us this evening. If any reason for questions from him. I know we're, any place I can put the plan, where we can
Just
see.
on the chair or?
Okay.
Yeah, I can try and pull them up on that.
Able to focus on that? Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Good job. All right, should mention there's cards from 2 notifications. We had erroneously put the police department as the meeting location. All
Mhm.
right, so we set the second one out, so you got 2 sets of them. It was revised, notice sent out. This is a proposal to take an existing timber retaining wall that runs along the bank of the river on Mr. Witten's property. It's rotted over the years, it needs to be replaced. Wants to replace it with a Ready Rock precast concrete block wall. This is the segmented blocks that are put in with an excavator. They're quite large and they fit together kind of like big Legos, all right, to make up the wall. There's a cross section of it down in here. You can see sits on a bed of stone and 3 layers high. The top blocks are kind of curved in a little bit on top, so you can plant grass in that area. We're also going to put a rail fence up at the top of it. That's if you look at the existing conditions. First of all, is our siltation control running along here, which question came up from DEP when they issued the file number, and they asked if there were any other resource areas involved here. We feel we've got this at the top of the beach. It's not quite top of bank. We think we're on the bank. The top of bank is where it changes. You get that change in slope. So we've shown that on here roughly at the top of the wall right now is where the change in slope is. And so our 100-foot buffer zone is based from that point on the top of the existing retaining wall. Didn't get any more feedback. I sent the note back to the reviewer, but
Yeah, she didn't
she
respond.
seemed to be fine with
Yeah.
it, with the response we sent her. So that, again, the new wall would go in exactly the same location, except we're gonna add a set of stairs about in the middle here so that they can get access down to the pond, to the beach area, right, along the edge of the water. Essentially, that's it. The Ready Rock retaining walls are made basically so that we don't have to dig deep and put footings. If we did like a precast cast in place concrete wall, we'd have to dig down 4 feet, get some footings in there. We'd be pumping water out of the hole and have to worry about that. So this allows us to stay above the water table, dig in there, set a base of stone, then put our retaining wall sections in as individual blocks going in. And they're gonna go, like I say, the same exact area that the existing one is. There's already an existing wall further up the hill, so this is quite a steep slope coming down from Cliff Drive. That's why it's called Cliff Drive, I guess, right? And it comes down quite a ways. It levels out a little bit here behind the house where the first retaining wall is. And it's gonna level out again between that retaining wall and the new one that's replacing the existing wood wall. There's a private dock out in here, not affected by this. The dock actually goes over the wall. And that dock was permitted some years ago through approval by the commission and also with our Chapter 91 license. So that's a licensed structure and the license numbers are on the plan. This retaining wall, however, is above the mean high water line. You'll see that line running down in here. It's outlined in blue on my plan here, just to make it easier to see, but that's down here along the beach. So this structure is completely on the landward side of mean high water, so it doesn't get into that Chapter 91 area. That's essentially what we're looking to do, replace an existing wall with a wall that won't rot and something which can be assembled fairly easily. If I can answer any questions.
I'm good, Rick. Anyone else from the commission have any questions?
No.
No.
All right, anyone from the public have any questions?
My deepest sympathy to anyone who lives by the water and has to deal with it.
The views are beautiful.
Yeah.
That's what keeps them there.
Doesn't feel that way sometimes.
All right, hearing no questions from the public and nor the commission, I will accept a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, Margaret French?
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp?
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. Motion passes unanimously. Victoria, is there anything else we need before we would vote for approval?
Nope, we have the DEP file number, so we should be all set.
All right, then I will accept a motion to approve the plans as presented. Any stipulations that might go with it from the Commonwealth, I would go along with that, but I'll accept the motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made and motion is seconded. All in favor? Margaret French?
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp?
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm gonna mail the order out to you so you can record both of those.
Yes.
Yes, okay, perfect.
All right. Item number 5, discussion and take action on warrant article request for land transfer. 0 Weedamo Heights, map 210, lot 76. Victoria, can you fill us in on that?
Yeah, I believe David Rosa is here, so I think he can speak
Okay.
about his request. Just trying to share the plan.
Hi, good evening. I'm David
Hi.
Rosa. It's all right for me to speak here.
Yes. I think
All
so.
right, so thankfully you have that map, that I have here. And that little highlighted area probably shouldn't be distracted by that. I'm not sure that's accurate. But this map, I have another map here that gives a little closer view and probably a little history. And so how did we get into this predicament? Some time ago, my uncle bought this property and shortly afterwards, there was some event took place with another property owner regarding their piece of property. And I don't know if it was this house lot or whatever it was. And the town took that. I guess taxes weren't paid or whatever. Close to that piece of property was a paper road. All of this was paper on paper. There was no road in there. It's just essentially a tree lot, which it is today. And future maps would probably be shown that way. But in the course of taking that other lot, they identified a paper road that reached down into my uncle's property and it curved around one of these lots over here. I think it's actually 78, curves down over here. So the property had already changed hands to my uncle. So this was probably unbeknownst to whoever was in charge of the taking of the property at the time. And why they decided to attach a paper road to that, I don't know. But at any rate, my mission here tonight, and until it's resolved, is to back away from that business of the town essentially having mistakenly taken that property. So here you can, I have another map, but you don't have it here, but you can essentially see the same arrangement of the land, and then over here to 78 and how the road comes down, this paper road. So how do we undo this? So well, there's a variety of paths there. The part of the problem is that lot, at least at one time, was I turned over to the Conservation Commission. And in so doing, it captured this piece of this paper road in that same taking, which again, unbeknownst to whoever did that, they were transferring land, which they didn't, that was already transferred ownership. So, so that, you know, one of the paths to undo this is what I've just described here was, we're looking for, so the path I'm thinking of right now, unless you know, want to guide me in some different way, I believe the shortest, easiest path is that it get on the, become on the, for the town meeting on the warrant, an item on the warrant, and that essentially would read that, and in that doing, somebody, either the Conservation Commission can say, I want this item on the warrant. That's how we arrive on the warrant. Or I can finish filling out this citizen's petition and then submit it to the town administrator, and it will get on the warrant that way. So why do I come before you folks? Well, there's a couple of reasons. I'd like to be good neighbors. I'd like to be friends with the Conservation Commission. I would hope that they would see the snafu, little bit of injustice that's taken place over time, and want to help me resolve the matter. So if you folks would champion the cause in the sense of going to the town and saying, we'd like this to be on the warrant, and then the town votes on it, that's great. So that's one of the things I'm seeking tonight. So this, so what would I be asking that to happen at the town meeting? I'm requesting the town reverse or relinquish any claim of land identified and described on map, what used to be map 210, and described as a strip of land 40 feet in width, running along the southerly and easterly sides of lot 78 on map 210, which is 78 here. So it runs down like this. So I believe at this point in time, it's this piece of land from anyone else's perspective is landlocked for your, whatever your purposes may have been at some point in time. And is also a recorded transferred ownership from whoever had it over here to my uncle. So, you know, that's, so if we back off on, you know, returning the land back over to me at this point in time, then any other issues that may be associated can be resolved. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And the other thing I'm looking for is a sort of, if you will, at least a gentleman's agreement, intent to cooperate on the matter. But I've done a lot of talking. We've got a great map here. All of this paper road over here and all these paper lots have all been rolled into one piece of land now. And so my only, and it goes over here a little bit. So my only snafu now is to resolve this matter of land ownership and then designation after that. So I'm willing to entertain any questions or suggestions you may have. I hope I sort of described it as neatly as I can at the moment.
Okay, Mr. Roser, if you'll just excuse me, because unfortunately I'm not there to see a lot of, you know, your pointing and so forth. But I see the lot as lot number 83. What is marked out?
No, okay, that's a, I'm sorry for interrupting. Please ignore the highlighted lot 83 for the moment.
Oh, okay. All right.
It has a description captured both in my draft for the citizen's petition, which I extracted from a letter from the assessor's office. So the wording is identical to what the assessor sent to me when in previous conversations I've had with him. Okay, so if I hope you didn't lose your train of thought, but if you'd like me to read it again, I will.
No, okay. So so the lot that was, the lot is on Sasman Drive to begin with first, correct?
The lot is on the lot that we're talking about may actually be on what is the paper version of Matawa Drive. If Matawa Drive extended over far enough to capture lot 78, then it would be Matawa Drive. But all of this, I know you probably can't see it, but all of these lots, they, if, to the extent that they exist at all, are just wooded areas. Sasson Drive ends, I don't know if you've ever been over there or not, it ends at what is more or less a rotary, not a rotary, but a cul-de-sac. And in this area, there's a significant drop off, and there's actually I think a stream over there or something. And so I would think that Sassaman Drive would never, not that it's achievable, but I'm thinking it's extremely unlikely it would ever become a road that extended off into this area going near lot 78. Likewise, Matawa Drive also ends in approximately the same location and is essentially a cul-de-sac, which so it's difficult to imagine that those roads would be extended over to the right of the map.
Okay, so,
I don't know if I answered the question or not, but
okay,
try.
well, okay, I'm well aware of I'm very aware of the layout, the area and the history behind it. So what you're saying is this is a piece of land. All right, that's a little bit better. Okay, a piece of land that is at
Thank
the
you.
end of, the end of Matawa Drive, in which there is a paper road that was taken by the town.
Yes,
Okay,
that's my understanding.
all right. And you, in your hope is to get that piece of property back from the town, correct?
Correct.
All right. To the board members, I'm gonna suggest that Margaret, if I may, the date for articles to be presented for the warrant is what? Do you have a rough idea? Do you remember what the rough idea is? I read it a couple of
I
weeks.
think it's the end of April 4th.
April 4th at 11 a.m. I believe.
Okay, okay.
All right. I'm gonna
Not
just,
to interrupt you, Charlie, but I just wanted to throw out that I think we should run things by the attorney
yeah,
and do a little research into what happened way back when,
right.
before we make a decision one way or the other.
Exactly. So, Mr. Rosa, if I may make a suggestion to you, is that you prepare an article as for this transaction for the town meeting. We will go and research a little bit about the town's side of the story, so to speak, and hopefully we can meet in the middle somewhere. That sound familiar? That sound all right with you?
Yeah, I like the general general direction of that. I like this new map that's been put up because it shows Matawa Drive and Sassaman Drive ending.
Correct.
And it also shows my cousin's name and my name on the map, which I greatly appreciate. So you can see on this map that we're talking about. It's a section that was identified on a paper map at some time. But okay, I've got a little homework to do, and it sounds like you folks need to do a little of your own research. And I can only share my understanding of it, and based on the research in the town and my discussions and documents I found in dealing while I was working with the assessor's office. Okay, are we more or less there?
Yes, we'll take a look like I said, to the story from the town's point of view, maybe we could say. And like I say, hopefully we can meet and come to a satisfactory outcome for this. All right?
Great, thank you so much. So will I be seeing this committee again, or you'll be notifying me in some fashion?
Well, at least we'll have some communication with you, either by phone or, come before a meeting if we need to. But we'll look into it, and we'll certainly communicate with you before the April deadline. But my suggestion would be that you prepare something and have the idea that you're gonna go through with a petition with an article. Do you
Understand.
understand what I'm saying?
Okay, I've got it. I'll keep marching.
All right,
But, it's great to meet the commission and to, find some way to collaborate on a solution. Thank you.
right. Have a good evening.
Any more questions for me, or?
No, I'm good. How about the rest of the commission?
I'm all set.
All right, we will be in touch, Mr. Rosa.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, item number 6, discussion of potential land acquisition off of County Road.
I think Mike is still on, our open space consultant. I think he had a little bit more information on this. And
Good night.
thank you too, and was prepared to speak about it. Mike, are you still on?
Have we lost him?
Mike, you're unmuted, but I don't hear you.
Mike has issues with his
Oh,
microphone a lot.
okay.
How about if I go on to the next matter, and if we get in contact with Mike, we'll come back to it. That's
Okay.
Mike, if you
Right.
want to send your phone number, we can run it through my phone.
It should have a microphone. I mean, I don't know.
Did you turn your microphone on?
There's a little like carrot top next to the sounds, and it tells you where your microphone and speaker are coming out of. Might want to make sure it's the right setting, but
What about down there?
the bottom.
Yeah. Oh,
Did you? So do we want to move on to the next one till he can figure that out, or if you want to?
Yeah, good to do.
Okay.
We're not going anywhere right now. Item number 7, discuss and vote on South Main Street Bridge replacement options study.
I vote on option 3.
Is that what I'm just curious as to, Victoria, are they asking that we make a recommendation?
Excuse me. Yeah, so Deb had asked that planning and Concom take a look at the report and make a recommendation, if any, for the bridge
Uh-huh.
replacement.
Ooh.
You don't need to decide today. It was a lot of information if you wanna
Yeah,
regroup at the next meeting. I know the planning board was looking at the sub options under option 3, but they wanted a little more information on like the differences between them, between those sub options, so.
okay, I would, say, I think we could, as a commission, maybe give some idea of what we think would be the best in relation to conditions for conservation. But I'm a little like, okay, maybe I have my opinion on, but, you know, as a citizen, but I don't know if I want to, say, I want to go with option, 2, I'll say, I'll go out on the, one, because it's, you know, it's not going to be any money that the town's going to spend. It's whatever it might be. I think that's a personal view, but I'm willing to give, or say, the Conservation Commission give their recommendations on what they think might be the best option for protecting or and also expediting the situation, because I know from past experience with work on the bridge before that there was a lot of dancing around for certain environmental issues. So I'd be willing to do that, but I think with that in mind, I'd like to go back and read it even more than I have. Does anyone else have anything they want to say?
Well, I know the planning board had the difference between 3A. They wanted to know what the difference between 3A and 3B or something.
Yeah, the sub options.
Yeah.
So I did reach out to try and see if we can get a little more information on it.
Does the rest of the commission, how do they want to go about making any recommendation?
I think they were all kind of leaning towards 3, but they wanted to know what the difference was in those 3s.
All right, you know, I'm like I said, I have a personal opinion from reading it and what I have known, but I still, I think I have some questions about the actual process. But I mean, yeah, I would be leaning towards 3, but I don't know if the commission should be saying, hey, we recommend this, we recommend that. Are we skating on thin ice, so to speak, you know, or any other analogy, like outrunning our headlights, whatever you want to say. That's just my personal opinion right now.
So I think what we need to look at is what is the environmental impact on each one of those options and give our opinion on just that, not on, I guess, not on what they're actually going to do with the bridge, but how that's going to affect the wetlands and that kind of thing. Because like, if you look on here, it talks about, there was, option 1, the environmental impacts of this option depend on the sub option. But the construction on option 2, I believe, says it's more. But option 3 says there are temporary environmental impacts during the actual construction, but nothing permanent.
Right.
So from a Concom point of view, that sounds like our best option. So
Right.
I think that's the only thing we're qualified to talk about.
Yeah, as a commissioner, I agree totally, Margaret. That's would be my point. Yeah, I have my personal opinion that might be a little bit different than, or I want to add something or what it might be. But as a commissioner, I think, you know, looking at it through the dealing with conservation, I think that's what we should make our recommendation on.
Mhm.
I had also like, with that in mind, go back and read all three options. What is the time limit, if anything, on it, Victoria?
There's not really a time frame, or at least they didn't give us one. But I think we have some time to sort of develop an opinion on it.
Okay, I mean, I'm not gonna belabor, maybe other than the next meeting, just to redo. Like I said, I read it with interest as a taxpayer, a citizen, more than as conservation. Are we all right with that, or?
I think the way they put it was that this was just a plan, so that we didn't end up with no plan at all if something did happen to the bridge. Right, it was kind of like,
Yeah, it is deteriorating and it does not have a lot of it doesn't have a lot of years left. So before we get to that point where it has to be shut down unexpectedly, we're trying to make a plan for it.
Right. Sounds good. But okay, if no one else minds, let's put it on a final action on it until the next meeting. We agreeable?
Yep.
yep.
Alrighty. The next one is discussion and vote on utilizing EDEP.
Yeah, so I know we talked about this previously, but we never actually made a vote to move forward with using it. So I just wanted to see if the commission still wanted to move ahead. The account is all set up and we are ready to start using it. I don't know if anyone has any questions about it or anything like that.
I'm good, Victoria. How about the rest? Anyone have any questions?
No, at this stage, what are you planning on using for funding?
Oh, no, EDEP is free. EDEP is not the same thing as online permitting.
Oh,
It's a
okay,
separate submittal platform that applicants can use to submit directly to DEP, because when they submit to us, they also have to submit to the state.
okay,
So this is
Okay.
sort of, yeah, and then for,
Okay.
on our side of things, when we submit the permit, we can submit it to the applicant at the same time as submitting it to the state. So it'll cut down on certified mailing costs, it's just, more efficient for the office, things like that.
okay,
Mhm.
then I'm all for it.
All right. Do we hear a motion?
I will make that motion.
All
I'll
right.
second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor? Margaret French,
Aye,
Steve Tripp,
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, next item is discuss and take action relative to the wetlands bylaw and rules and regulations. So we've discussed this in the past, and do we want to take action tonight, or is there anyone who wants to put any input in as to any changes in the bylaw and or rules and regulations? Hearing none, I'll say what I think is, there is a couple of things that we might want to change in rules and regulations. I don't think that right now is the time to speak of them, though. But I would like to do a couple of additional minor things, or actually make it clearer for people who are applying for things to actually be able to do some things. But right now, I don't think it's the time to do this. In the future, you'll understand, I think, what I'm talking about. But so if there's nothing else, why don't we go for right now? That we're good with the regulations. But like I said, within like 6 months, I'd like to bring it up, a couple of things up for discussion. Victoria, what may you have to say?
So I I just had in the packet a draft of the enforcement section. I didn't have the entire draft document for the
Uh-huh.
proposed changes that we discussed last time. So I just wanted to see if anyone had any feedback on that section specifically, since I know that's enforcement has kind of been coming up a little bit. And then also, if anyone, has any direction on, if they want the bylaw, changed, any suggestions on, what direction we want to go in, that would just be appreciated to at least give me a starting point, on what the commission would like to see.
All right. My own view is on the relation to the bylaw, it basically it mirrors the state statute. And my own opinion is I like to leave it that way, keeps it simplest. So when people come in, someone comes in to deal with the commission, they already know where we are. We're not going to have some little quirky addition to the law. That's my personal opinion. That's said. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to say or any input? All right, I guess your lead, Victoria. But like I said, for right now, there's something that I would like to see explicitly put in the regulations so that it's clear. But like I said, I think it's about 6 months down the road.
So are we tabling this for now? Am I not working on it? What?
Well, I'll leave it to my fellow commissioners to make that decision, since it's not the chair's action.
You want to add something to it? I mean, we can wait until you add it to it, that's all.
Right. It
Okay.
seems silly to change things now and then 6 months down the road, change it again.
Yeah, especially because it's a public hearing, so we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
pay for.
All right, well, would someone, do we want to formally make a motion here, or do we want to just pass over it?
You don't need a formal motion, so we can just.
No, okay, that, yeah, all right.
Okay.
All
We'll
right.
just table until,
Okay, I think Mike might be
Mike.
working.
Back.
Try it now.
oh, hi,
I
Mike.
can hear you.
Well, look at that. I don't know what happened. I pushed a button and a picture of a microphone appeared. I don't know what that was all about. So anyhow, yes. I was called by Peggy Wilkinson. Peggy, you may remember this is who you folks bought some land from last year in the same area of town. She is downsizing her holdings, and that she is planning to, she has, for all intents and purposes, moved out of town and will be selling the remainder of the property that she owns in town within the next few months. And she has some miscellaneous small parcels that she does not feel will probably sell with her home property, and is interested in giving to the Conservation Commission. Now, on the map that you have, there's been a little bit of color coding. The two sort of golden or yellow colored parcels, those are parcels that the Conservation Commission already owns. They were given to the Conservation Commission, I want to say, in the early to mid 70s. The pink parcels are these small miscellaneous lots that she still owns. A couple of them are paper streets. Some of them are paper streets that have additional land added to them. Those are sort of the L-shaped ones. And then there's one very tiny one. So for anyone who may not be familiar and may be wondering what are all these paper streets all about, the very quick synopsis is this area, which is on County Road, it starts at the New Bedford line and it runs to about 32 County Road. these were, this area was what was called tea lots. And around 1900, it was, you could think of it almost like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. You bought a box of tea in New Bedford, you got a little ticket that said you won a 20-foot wide by 80-foot long piece of land in East Freetown. And the idea was that people that lived in maybe 3-family houses, didn't have any land of their own, could hop on the trolley and come out to the country and have a little garden or what have you. And these paper streets were to enable people to access their lots that were in the back. Over time, the lots were sold, traded, what have you. And that's how you ended up with some of the larger parcels that have actually been built on over there over the years. Peggy's late husband had bought up most of the paper streets, not all of them, but most of them, and any of the miscellaneous lots that came up for sale that were somehow adjacent to land that they already owned. So, like I said before, she does not want or need these lots, does not feel that they would sell with her larger property, and is looking to give them to you folks. So that's sort of the 30-second synopsis of what's going on here.
Okay, we all set, Mike?
Yes.
All right. I don't know if the other commissioners know, but there is a lawsuit being proposed, at least, and it has to do with some of this property. And so I would say that if we're going to, before we do anything like agree to this, that we find out what the basis actually of the lawsuit really is. And
So that,
okay. All right, go on, Mike.
oh, sorry. That suit was specifically regarding Highland Street, which is not a party to the lots that she is approaching you about now. And that was, to the best of my knowledge, concluded. That was, and it's off the map that you have there. So you see lot 67 is at the top, or Highland Street. Okay, right there. So Highland Street is actually the driveway to Peggy's house. She lives, her house is half on lot 66 and half on 67. And that was a precursor to her selling, was that she had to establish that she had not lost the right to use Highland Street. And that was decided in her favor maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Okay. All right. I had been notified of the original, but never any resolution. Another thing that kind of before the town takes this land is, to your knowledge, Mike, has she brought it to the attention of any of these abutters? We just look at the Central Avenue there. There's a number of different lots, and it looks like there's a property that might, on either side, that might be wanting to take that property as their own and enlarge their lot a little bit. To your knowledge, has she tried any of that?
To my knowledge, in a limited capacity, lot 69 was hers. She's recently given it to a relative of hers who has been using it. She proposes to give Fairview Street to them. Lot 78 was also Peggy's. She's recently sold that. I do not know if she offered them Central Ave with that or not. And then likewise, a little bit further down on the page, whatever lot that may be, lot 83 was also hers, and she's recently sold that. I don't know if she offered them, say, Montrose Street or whether she did or not. So I can certainly ask her that. I think you guys were her first choice. But there's no harm in asking if it was offered to the abutters at all.
Right. I mean, there's two things. First of all, not that it's gonna be any substantial amount of money, but taking property off of the tax rolls that might not reasonably be taken off. And like, I see there where, hey, if I owned one of those pieces of property, just because it's in front of us, either or 78 or 79, you know, to get a little bit more land, and just in case I wanted to do something with it. Especially as you look at 79 is kind of a small lot, and you know, to go to the south, grab that piece of property for my own would be, I would think, advantageous if I owned lot 79.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I guess my own opinion is that maybe it'd be better to try to have her converse with these other abutters to these properties and see if they want to take them before we make any action on taking them as conservation land, because really there's not a lot of use. I don't see a lot of use for such, even in for conservation land. You know, one of the laneways, if one of the laneways access property that's somewhat landlocked, or if easier access would be one of these laneways, I consider that. But just to have, you know, 100 feet of land here and 100 feet of land there, I don't think it's really a good policy to have, especially if other people can use them. And it'd be terribly hard if we were to take them, take possession of them, and then try to turn around, give them, or to an abutter or something like that would be very difficult. So I think that's kind of how I would look at it. Anyone else have any input?
Sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. All right. So, Mike, if you may reach out for us and tell her our feelings on them before we take any possession of any of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. We all set? Thanks, Mike.
All right, anytime. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night, Mike.
Item number 11, discuss and take action relative to a conservation agent / consultant. As you know, we have money in the present budget and in the proposed budget for next year for some compensation for a conservation agent. And I think that this is a time to really seriously consider hiring someone to do some more of the technical aspects of inspecting and checking on projects that are being done, and also that maybe make sure that, you know, when they come and they say they have completed the project, that they actually have that type of stuff. Over the last couple of months, I've looked at ads on the Mass Municipal Association career site, and I've seen the agents' job descriptions, and especially what they pay, with what they advertising that will be their pay, and it's around between $35 and $40 an hour. So I would recommend that we start the process of trying to hire someone to work per diem. The 25, if you had $40 an hour, $25,000, you're going to get about 10 hours of work per week. I think Victoria, am I pie in the sky, or do you think that 10 hours is a relatively, give or take a couple, but on average, 10 hours a week would be?
Yeah, I would, I mean, honestly, I would say even right now, it's probably less than that. It really depends on, as you know, how many applications we get in. So it'd really be on a more of a per diem, like you said, not a set number of hours. At least that's how I envision it. But
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they want to say?
No, I agree. I think it should be per diem. You know, we might get 2 or 3 NOIs and then for months on end not get anything, so I don't want to see us hire somebody. And then all the expenses involved in that, and then they're not really doing much.
Also, just another thing, it might be possible at some time that we reach out to some neighboring community or communities and see if they might want to go with a, I guess you could say, regional conservation commissioner. Now,
Yep.
my understanding is in Lakeville, for whatever reason, the chairman is also the conservation commission. I don't know the background there. I don't believe Berkeley has one. Cushnet has had a hiring notice in for one. I don't believe it was full-time either. But so I would say if we could try to advertise for someone per diem at the rate of $40 an hour, that would be a good start. Okay, if that's agreeable, I'll accept the motion.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, Margaret French,
Aye.
Steve Tripp,
Aye.
Charlie Sullivan, aye. So Victoria, in your free time.
which I have so much of.
No, if we could maybe, come up with a job description and duties and so forth. When I get back, I'll pay you a visit, and with the
Sure.
idea to put it on, go through the process of hiring somebody. All right. Next item is discussion and take action. My screen just went blank here. On the relative to the fiscal year 25 budget. We talked about the budget. We've been shown. Anyone have anything they want to, any input they want to put into it?
Nope, looks reasonable to me.
All right, if that's be the case, then I'll accept a motion to forward the budget.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion is made, motion is seconded. All in favor, Margaret French?
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp?
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. All right, next item is discussion, take action relative to rescheduling March 25th and March 8th meetings.
So I was just posing that just because, I like to be in attendance at these meetings, of course, to help give input as the commission wants. But I do have a couple of trainings those 2 nights. So I wanted to see if we could either switch, because obviously we meet on the Monday, if we could switch it to the Tuesday dates, if that works with everyone, or if there's a different date that may work in those weeks, I'm available.
Okay, so the best solution would be to change it from the 25th to the 26th and from the 8th to the 9th. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that would be my suggestion, but if our members have conflicts, I'm flexible, other than the Monday.
So I'm okay with the March. We can move that to March 26th.
Okay.
I am not sure on the 9th. because I don't have my other calendar with me. April is not a good month for me
Okay,
between FinCom meetings, and I think I might have one on the 9th.
okay.
And BOS meetings, so I'm not sure about the 9th. That doesn't mean you guys can't have a meeting.
Mhm.
Don't know where you'll have it, but you guys can have a meeting.
Well, we'll have it here if you guys are happy. I did double check before I posed those dates. The police station calendar was available. I don't know if since then,
Oh,
I don't know
oh,
if
then
since
that
then
means
it's
I'm
been,
free.
oh, are you sure?
If it's, I have my life booked over there for the month of April. So if nobody's there the 9th, that means I'm not there.
It's been a few days since I checked. Has anything new been scheduled? Do you know?
No, I did this like a month ago.
Okay. So then it should be available, but I mean, we're a little ways away from April, so I mean, we can always,
Okay,
if it ends up being booked, we can.
all right, so
Does that
I'll,
work?
I'll say I can do the 26th and the 9th, and when I get home, I'll look at my master calendar. And
All right,
Okay,
and let you know if there's any issues with that.
okay.
So that's
perfect.
my availability. I don't know
Is
about
everyone
anybody else.
else available for the Tuesday? Yep. Okay.
good. It's
Like,
Steve's
Okay.
good.
yeah, whatever.
All
Right.
right, perfect. Thank you for being flexible. I appreciate it.
No
Maybe.
problem. Okay. So I'll accept a motion to reschedule the March 25th meeting to the March 26th meeting. And for right now, the April 8th meeting to April 9th.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
Hey, motion is seconded. All in favor, say aye. Margaret French.
Aye.
Margaret French says aye. Steve Tripp.
Aye.
Steve Tripp says aye. Charlie Sullivan says aye. All right. Item 14, any other business properly to come before the Conservation Commission?
I have a proposal.
All right,
Online permitting. Do we want to go forward with online permitting? I know there's a cost associated with it. However, we have budgeted 25,000 for a conservation agent for FY 24 that even if we hired somebody next week, there's no way we're using that much money. We can reallocate that and use it for online permitting.
all right. My only question then would be, Victoria, in the budget for the fiscal year 25, is, in your opinion, is there room for protecting the cost?
What is it, like 4,000 a year after?
It's closer to 5,000 now, the annual maintenance fee. Is
Okay.
that, so that's something that I'm actually not positive on is, do you know, being on FinCom, not to put you on the spot, do you know
No.
if that's coming out of like IT budget, the annual cost, or is that separate departmental budgets? Cause that's the only thing I did not budget for that, cause I assume that would be like IT software kind of a thing
Yep,
and come out of like administration, but.
I'm not sure. I can get back to you.
Well, I can look to tomorrow. I just didn't know
Okay.
if you knew off the top of your
Okay.
head. Okay, so I will look into that to double check because yes, then we will have to budget for that if that's the
So,
case.
but would that also, would that be Concom planning and ZBA?
So technically, so I put, so I did get an updated cost estimate because I did try to apply for a grant for online permitting for our land use departments. Haven't heard back yet. I just replied early April, but I did have them put soil board under Concom. So for this side of things, it would be one yearly fee for that. And then I am going to ask them if they can put ZBA under planning, just, you know, ZBA is one application to pay $5,000 a year is just a little
Yeah.
outrageous. So that should really just go under planning and we'll have 2 modules. So hopefully it would just be
Oh,
the
and it'd be
10,000
$5,000 a piece.
exactly for
Okay.
yearly maintenance. Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Okay,
And I can send the cost proposal that I received as well,
okay.
out to the members.
All right, why don't we, to cover open meeting also, will you look into that, Victoria, and then put it on the, next agenda to discuss and vote on.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? All right, if that's the case, I will accept the motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor? Margaret Frank,
Aye. Oh, sorry,
Steve
aye.
Tripp,
I,
Steve Tripp, Charlie Sullivan, aye. Motion passed. All right, folks, we'll see you in person next time we go. All right,
We'll see you, Charlie. Have a good one.
you also.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is